3 long days, some I don't know. It takes a little more than what you show, and that's yesterday. Yeah, yesterday.
Welcome to Bobby Finn Knows Everyone, part of the Pull Tab Sports family. I am Bobby Finn. Along with me again today, Tommy Lord. How are you, Tom?
Hey. How's it going?
Good.
Thanks for having me.
As usual. Eh?
As usual. Who else we got with us today?
We have one of my old buddies, Dave Voss, a.k.a. owner of Junction 70. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Been trying to get you on for
I would
few
like
months.
to tell you my schedule is that demanding, but, here we are. So looking forward to it.
Appreciate you being here, buddy.
Yeah.
Appreciate you being here. So where are we starting here, Dave?
Does Dave? First of all, I should have thought about this while we were talking earlier. Do you have a cool nickname?
Oh, don't get me started on that.
This is great.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, we couldn't have scripted this any better.
We didn't
This
even
is
script it.
no
We
sort
could go
of-
play golf, whether it's a foursome, 8, 12, 16 people.
Yeah.
Everybody has a nickname but me.
He's Mr. No Nickname.
No nickname.
It's like no name steaks.
Right.
So
No name, no
I-
nickname, Dave.
kind of laugh about it, and everybody was like, "What's your nickname?" I go, "It's just Dave." So like, we're gonna call you Just Dave. I go, I kind of like it actually, but the simple fact that you can't just create or appoint a nickname, you have to earn it, wear it, whatever. But yeah, I'm proud to tell you, I'm one of the few guys at my age that doesn't have a nickname. Never have.
Just Dave.
Just Dave.
People have tried to make nicknames up for him too. One of our buddies, you're Diesel. You're
Yeah.
the Diesel.
You're the diesel. You're the beast.
And the funny thing
But
is
it's like
the
looking
twin-
at bumper stickers. I mean, yeah, that one's kind of cool, and I don't hate it, but you can't just label it. You can't just smack it on somebody and say this is it.
Right.
Right. So didn't really work.
And his twin brothers
well.
had a nickname since how long? Or how old was he?
Since we were freshmen in high school, and he's worked at the same organization for 25 years. And I guarantee you there's people that don't know his real name. He's like Prince or Sting or Madonna. It's Biscuit. Just Biscuit.
He's
Yep.
Biscuit.
Biscuit.
No one knows.
But,
Biscuit.
but the big brother Diesel.
Yeah.
Big brother, just Dave.
Just Dave.
Hey, there's Dave.
All right.
Hey, Biscuit, what's up?
Yeah.
And Dave.
You know what's better though? When people call me Biscuit, I'm like, not only bad, I don't have a nickname. I'm getting called my brother's nickname.
Are you guys twins?
We are, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
He was a mistake.
Yeah.
I was first, so I like to think I was planned, but
Did you get all the nutrients? And he's a little scrawny, like
yeah, as a matter of fact, yeah. As a matter of fact, yeah.
Biscuit.
But I will
Right.
tell you, he's got to work a little bit because everybody that comes up to me, it's high fives. They're like, "Hey, how you doing, Biscuit?" I'm like, "Hey, good to see you, man. How you been?" And I just keep walking. He gets hugs from all the pretty ladies.
Oh,
I'm like, "Hey, man, help me out here a little bit.
Jeez,
It
I
should be a
guess.
two-way street.
it
you
should
know?
be, especially since you own a sweet restaurant.
Well, we're proud of it. It's kind of cool, but
Right.
You know?
You should be getting all the high fives and the hugs.
You-
And the, hey,
you
can I
know.
get a special
I think he's
table?
still getting them. He gets free beers and free, free
You
appetizers.
gotta be careful what you say. Not free steaks. Not free.
No,
no. Not the good stuff.
No.
Not the free chicken wings that are market price now. Are your wings market price over there?
We try to.
We were at a bar one time. It was like
Yeah,
market
I've
price.
seen that.
Like what?
Yeah, and we thankfully we got a pretty good relationship with our distributors, so we can, if we can, commit to buying enough, they'll take care of us. But over time, they got to make sure their margins are where
For
they
sure.
need to be as well. So
Yeah, for sure.
But it is ridiculous when you're thinking lobster market price
Right.
and then there's like chicken wing market price.
yeah.
Well,
Like,
they're
come
spendy.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if Buffalo Wild Wings is like doing market price, or they're not selling real wings, right?
There's really not buffalo meat. No, it's like Xander meat for buffaloes, whatever that is.
Well, the last time, and don't get me wrong, my kids love it. I used to love it too. All the different sauces, and it was great. And the last time I went there, I had boneless wings. It was like I was eating Cap'n Crunch. I'm like, there's no chicken in here.
right.
But I'll have to go back and try it.
And you get a lot of sports fans. A lot of youth teams at your restaurant. I
Oh
suppose,
yeah,
in Cottage
yeah.
Grove.
I mean, it works out really well if there's any tournaments, whether it's soccer, baseball, hockey, whether it's mites up to high school,
Right.
and we try to help out. We try, our kids are actively involved in sports, so we try to get the brand out there
Yeah,
a little bit.
absolutely.
If they have somewhere to be or if they want to have a team party, we'll try to make it easy for
What I
them.
like about Junction 70, so I grew up in Cottage Grove. It was always, there was Applebee's and there was Demorey's, but there was never like good, decent restaurants. And you go there for the weekend or the tournament, or hey, parents want to stop at a place. Someone said Junction 70, and I grew up on 72nd Street, and I was like, "What's Junction 70?" I grew up right there, and you pulled in, it was freaking awesome. And it feels a little bit upscale. It feels like parents want to hang out there, the moms want to hang out there, the dads are like, "Oh, they got good booze and good beers," and it's a good spot. I'm not just kissing your ass, but I think
you won't
really,
believe this. That was kind of our. Like, let's face it, the kids and the moms typically dictate where you go for dinner, and the dad just drives and pays.
Yep.
So we're like, hey, if we got a place with the kids, they can run around outside, play some beanbags, play some video games, get a bunch of rubber toys.
Yep.
Win free wild tickets.
Yeah, right.
His son won free wild tickets. I think it ended up costing him $200 by the end of the night. But nice enough that the moms and the ladies like it, and then the dads are like, hey, you know what? We can come here for game time too.
Yep.
So
for sure. How many moms you see at Acapulco?
None.
The Post?
Zero there.
So yeah, it's a good spot.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so speaking of the kids getting sports,
should we talk a little bit about one of our favorite salsas of all time? Is that what we're going to talk about?
I think that's a good
Joe
time.
Mama Salsa.
Joe Mama Salsa.
Joe Mama Salsa started by a guy from Cottage Grove as well.
Yeah.
And great salsa. They say that you want to ride the flavor wave. And you know why that is? Because it starts a little bit tart. It ends a little bit hot, a little bit of that sweetness, a little bit of that spicy. It's like cowboy caviar is what they say.
I'll tell you the hot.
Yeah.
It's sweet and it's tasty right up until you stop eating it. And then it starts ramping up, and you're like, I got to keep eating it.
Yeah, that's the thing with the hot.
It's really like I don't know if it was intentional, but it's methodical. It's very good, but then it gets so hot.
It tricks you into that heat.
You got to go back to it.
Yeah, it tricks you into that heat.
Next,
so
the jar's gone. Back. Yeah, it's dynamite.
Exactly.
It's
so
dynamite.
What Joe Mama's is doing is they're really getting into fundraising, and they're trying to get parents to start selling it and kids to start selling it so they can start help kids pay for their hockey association. So I think it's up to 50% goes back to the kids. So they sell it for a certain amount, and then 50% goes right back to these kids so they can pay for their hockey. It's really good. It takes a lot less shelf space than pizzas. Like everybody sells a lot of pizzas, but they're going to do this thing where they're going to start having kids sell it. Look into it. Check out Joe Mama Salsa. It's delicious.
They're official salsa of hockey.
They are the official salsa of hockey, which I think is really cool.
Yeah,
for
it's
salsa.
awesome.
How awesome is that?
Honestly, 50% of the proceeds go back to the association.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fantastic. Why wouldn't you do it?
Absolutely. So check out Joe Mama's. It's a magic carpet ride. That's what they say. It's the magic carpet ride for your mouth. And check them out. So.
Yeah.
Boom, Joe Mama's.
Joe Mama's.
Yeah.
Get it on.
So, Dave, you're a big baseball player back in the day.
Well, I aspired to be.
Yeah. What do you think about the Twins collapse and what's going on there? Are we done?
I used to tell my dad when I was little, I said, Dad, just get me into like August with something to watch, something to grab onto. And,
what a collapse!
Unbelievable!
It's unbelievable.
Like
how does that happen? But some of the crazy ass analytical decisions that the management is making, it's mind boggling to me.
Did they have 2 no-hitters going this year and they pulled them?
They pulled them both.
Yeah,
dude.
And a pitch count, and it's like, do you want to protect a player? I get it, in theory, but when they're in a groove, you're gonna pull Jack Morris in the 9th or 10th inning,
he'd say F you. I'm
it's like it's not happening.
Right.
But it wasn't 62 pitches, it wasn't 77. I mean, he was in the groove, he was feeling he as a professional knew that he could still compete and throw.
Mm-hmm.
So are arms different now than they were 50 years ago?
Kids are softer, that's for sure.
I understand that, but arms are not different. Yeah, there might be stronger.
Physiologically, probably not.
Right. But to me, they actually should be in better shape because all the all
training that
the science that they have behind it. Pitchers used to pitch 150, 250 pitches. I remember looking at the paper back in the day, and they'd have old box scores in there, and the game would go 25 innings, and you scroll down, one pitcher pitched a whole damn game. Like, how is this possible?
Right.
But they are protecting these players so much to the fault, and it's costing them no hitters and I mean, it's costing them money.
What
And
do you think this players' agents say though? Are they also like, hey, no, we got to protect these guys and don't be throwing them so many pitches? And I wonder about that.
That's a great question because I bet if you were to ask a handful of agents, some want the no hitter because that's leverage for them. I would got to imagine. And other ones are like, no, we're looking at longevity here.
Right.
We got to
want that
protect
next
them.
contract.
Yeah.
but a no hitter goes to the top.
Right.
And you say, sure. What's the one? Mark Pryor, and then who was the other dude from the Washington Nationals that just threw gas? He's still playing.
Strasburg.
Yeah.
And he's been out 2 or 3 different years because of arm problems, but at the same time, he signed monster ass contracts because of his strikeouts and because of his no hitters or whatever he's got. But I think that no hitter goes right to the top, and you're just like, let these guys pitch. Quit being an asshole. Let them quit looking at if it's going to be all analytics, it's got a monkey can do it.
Right.
I mean,
Right. Or algorithms.
Yeah.
It's like you don't even need someone to interpret the numbers. It's just it's going to come out like the old ticker tape on the stock market. Oh, it's got to come out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so Twinkies, I don't know. What's their center fielder? I think they just got to get rid of him.
Oh,
I love the
Buxton.
guy. God, his upside has been so big for so long. And, it's a blessing and a curse. A guy can't just pull up when you're up 6-0 and there's a ball to the gap.
Right.
Next thing you know, he's out for 20 games. But,
Too fast. I think it's
Right.
almost an oxymoron, right? The guy's too fast.
yeah.
He played 4 games after the All-Star break, I think.
And what do you have? 25 home runs at that point? I mean, he finished the year with somewhere in the mid-20s, but it's I don't know.
What's okay though is that we're not going to lose in the first round of the playoffs this year. That's great.
That is
I'm
okay.
looking
We're
forward
not
to
going
that.
to lose to the
Yankees are probably
Yankees.
disappointed we're not in. They actually got to compete. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that.
Did you guys play baseball together?
We did, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Any good stories about that? You like
There's one funny one.
you guys get in a fight? What'd you do?
No,
I didn't. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah.
We get on the field early.
You a fight,
And we're throwing.
I swear to God, I didn't do anything wrong.
Okay,
Right.
Connor.
Did I? Did I do
Okay,
anything? Okay, you say it.
No. So we get there early and we're warming up, and the coaches are still in the office and they're getting ready, and we're out there throwing the ball around, and we're like, let's practice turning 2, and someone's throwing the ball and I'm throwing it over and Finn's turning 2, and next thing you know, he's kind of doing like I'm Ozzie Smith and he's Ryan Sandberg, and we're doing all these fancy plays, and someone goes, let me try. He goes, don't beat it, man. We're working on this, And the kid goes, no, man, it's my turn. I want to play. And Finn goes, beat it, and we're like, hey, it's warm-ups. It's like 3:00 in the afternoon, and no one's even out there. And so we're still goofing around. We're laughing and having fun. And apparently this guy wanted to practice turning 2, and he decided he was going to take a turn, and Finn let him know it wasn't his turn.
I was like,
Did you pop him? Push him down? What'd you do?
yeah, I to let him know that it wasn't his turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kid was Joe Mauer.
Right?
You what an asshole you are.
Right. You're a first
He
baseman.
may or
Get
may
over
not
there.
have a Rawlings tattoo across his jawbone, but
Like,
you know,
smack.
Yeah, that's funny. What's funny is assistant coach for my son's baseball or for football team is Junior Kimmel Jr. Honest to God, he's a special teams coach. Yeah, but it is.
Kimmel's a teacher at Park, wasn't he? He was when I left.
No, that was a different Kimmel, I
no,
think.
Phil Kimmel is the athletic director.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And
yeah.
Tim Kimmel Jr.
Tim
I
Kimmel,
think
that's
at
it.
one point was helped out with the program or taught at Cottage Grove.
He's a gym teacher at Woodbury now.
yeah.
But yeah, that's funny. But
His old man and our baseball coach, Walseth, used to meet behind the catch. I was a catcher, meet behind us, and they'd each take a plug up, like a chew, bite off the chew plug and dip it in there, and they'd tell stories and stuff, and then just spitting and chewing in high school baseball. And
when I
the
was
old Kimmel
when I was
crew.
a junior, I only got the pinch hit. This is Dave's senior year.
Mhm.
All he let me do was pinch hit the entire year.
and then fight kids who wanted to play second base. Yeah,
Right,
whatever.
yeah.
Keep going.
But so after my pinch hit, I'm done, right?
Yeah.
So I'd go back to his box and I'd grab his plug and I'd throw it in and I'd have a big chew in. Every single time I threw up, every time. It was like, what am I doing this for? But I
Right.
did it to piss him off, And
Yeah.
then I was like, what am I doing? This is crazy.
Redman plug, was it Redman?
No,
Was it
I don't know.
Beach Nut, I think.
Beach
Yeah,
Nut,
yeah.
I think.
Was it stronger than the Skrulls
I don't know.
and the
I can't.
Copenhagens?
That's one of the tobacco to me. It just destroys me. It goes right to my head, and I throw up every single time. I even tried hawking with Dave one time, and that's the only time I think I didn't throw up was with hawking, and I was spinning like a top. Yeah, it was crazy.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, but
tried it once.
so you played baseball. We were
Barton.
talking about this a couple of days ago, and you played baseball, and we were, the Chuck Knobloch came up.
Oh yeah.
And can you tell us about that?
Yeah. Well, Knobloch had the Yips, right? I remember high school baseball. I was a senior, and I was a decent baseball player, good catcher. Senior year, we practiced in the gym when it was cold out, and as soon as it got warm, we'd all move outside. But in the gym, every year we practiced in the gym, pitchers, catchers. And I started throwing the ball off the bleachers, off my coach's head, off the sides. I got the yips, and my coach comes over. He's a big, tough son of a bitch. He set records at the U, big bat, and he's like, "Let me show me how you're holding that ball." And I was all nervous. I was like shaking, and he's like, "Throw it back to the pitcher." And I was just like, "Zing, zing, zing," and you're just like, I literally have thrown a ball a million times in my life, and how do you not have a good release point? And like the pressure felt wrong, my release point felt wrong. He's like, "You've got El Changuito." And they're like, "What's El Changuito?" He's like, "I played in the Mexican leagues. You got the monkey on your back." And then Knobloch was after me. I started the monkey on your back. But I freaking couldn't throw the ball. And then when I saw the Knobloch thing, it was like, this is a real deal. And as soon as we moved outside, I was fine. It was just like I felt like the walls were closing in. But I swear I went to like just our big brick wall there at Park, and I would throw the ball against like a tennis ball against the wall as hard as I could a million times just to like try to get rid of it. Because you're just like, I don't know, how do you not know how to throw the ball? It's like same spot every time. And sure enough, you get in the gym and you're just like, bing, bong, bing, bong. And I hit my coach in the back of the head one time, and I thought I was going to get killed. Oh. But yeah, I had the monkey in my back, man. You get the yips. And
did you ever have any problems with that?
I did, as a matter of fact.
You did?
I did, yeah.
I didn't know this.
So yeah, I was in, I think it was actually 9th grade. Had a decent year, like playing freshman ball. And then we tried out for East Twins Babe Ruth. And we had and there you want to make an impression because you're playing with kids you didn't grow up with. Playing for kids from different playgrounds, different high schools. And I felt totally comfortable. We'd already finished our school season, went there, and coach was very complimentary, and I think he'll help out. And shortstop, everybody sees that guy. And there was times where I probably had to use a pitcher for a cutoff man to get the ball to first base. And it was that year, and there was some days were better than others, but it's like you try to steer it, and you try to short arm it, and you try to just serve it up on a silver platter.
Yep.
And it just, there's nothing you can do. And my dad played a little ball. He's like, listen, he goes, I get it.
Thinking about it too hard.
You are.
Yeah.
He goes, but if you're going to throw it, if you're going to make a bad throw, let it fly. Throw in the parking lot, throw it over his head, but don't limp wrist it over there. Let it fly. I'm like, okay. And that next game, there was a ball to the gap between left and center field, and I ran out for the cutoff man, and I was out on the grass and caught it and threw it home without even thinking. And I think that was a big part of it, was not thinking, and threw a strike to home. And that might have been my coming out party.
Yeah.
I was like, thank God.
Yeah. You just gunned it and took him out, and it's like, perfect.
So that was, But again, you're dealing with kids from a different school. And you're like, boy, like, you don't even want to tell them you don't normally throw like this. But at the same time, you're like, guys, I can throw the ball.
Yeah, right.
But you spend too much time.
Still debatable.
Convincing people, but
Somebody yelled, try your other arm.
Yeah, right. You sure you're not left-handed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the good old East Twins. I remember when I was, because you go to get drafted, right?
Right,
so you go, everybody tries out, and there's a big draft, and they had a deal where nobody was going to draft me. Because they said I was too cocky.
Was this Moose?
Moose, yeah.
Okay.
He was my coach, actually. He helped out.
Yeah.
Bucks Blacktop.
Yeah.
Well,
we changed the roofing my year that I was there.
It never occurred to me, but we had like the old school Astros jerseys, but they were maroon and white, or gray.
Yeah.
And come to think of it, being proud maroon and gold.
Yeah.
We despise maroon and gray. And to this day, I didn't realize it.
Go figure.
How
It was
much?
Moose's.
Moose is doing.
Oh,
yeah.
Johnson over
Yeah,
Harding.
yeah.
I'm tracking. I'm
Right.
tracking.
But yeah, it was funny because they all had it, and Eddie Patro's dad, he was on it. They were all coaches, and they're like, "We need to teach this kid a lesson, right?" And then Moose still took me, and they were all pissed at him.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it was great.
So was that Johnson and Hardy kids coming together?
the most
Was that
part,
where
yeah.
most of the
There was a
kids?
lot. There was
It
North
I
St.
bet
Paul
there's
kids
some
in there
drama.
too.
Yep.
I mean, there was kids from other areas.
Yeah,
for
Hill Murray.
sure.
There's a couple of Hill Murray
Yeah.
kids on our team.
I bet that was some drama, huh?
Oh, it was. I mean, it was good baseball. It was really good baseball. I mean,
And they
there's
were.
some
It's
really
funny
good players
because
that
they
came
were
out of
kind of busting my balls a little bit, and I kind of knew what they were doing, and and I was like, "Come on, guys, seriously." It's like, and then I'd see them later on as we got older in high school, and I got along with them. And not to mention, though, there was kids at Harding who didn't know anybody from Johnson, and Johnson has a reputation for being tough guys,
Mhm.
And I knew a lot of them. I'm like, well, some of them are pretty tough, but most of them aren't, And they'd be like, "Ooh, we're playing Johnson." I'm like, "Are you serious?"
Stigma,
I'm like, "Yeah,
right.
well, I mean, trust me, there are some guys over there that'll take care of business, but not all of them all the time,
Right.
because Dave went to middle school on the other side of the tracks.
Right.
It's really,
Literally, yeah.
So
Hazel
he-
Park,
yeah.
junior high.
So
yeah.
he was closer to Johnson than he was to Harding.
Yeah.
But
Probably 75 to 80% of my middle school went to Johnson. So we
Okay.
knew all those kids,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was good times, and so he was the middleman in the rumbles. We had to
right.
talk everybody down.
Right.
In the rumbles.
Where at least I could pair
He's
everybody
working-
off. You two better go because he'll mop you guys up. But yeah.
No,
There was one quick story about those guys real
Yeah.
quick. They were very proud about their soccer. Hayden Heights. A lot of those kids went to Johnson. They loved their soccer. And we're like, really?
Yeah.
Soccer?
Right.
So we were in 8th grade. We said, we went down to Hazel Park Rec Center where we hung out. That's where we played t-ball, football, baseball, and hockey up until we got older in association stuff. And we said, and we knew everybody that ran the place. I said, "Hey, can you get us in the 8th grade soccer league?" And they're like, "We haven't had a soccer team down here in years." They're like, and somebody said, "Hey, can you get us in the soccer? We just want to play those guys."
Right.
They looked like professional. They had this fancy uniforms and, they had their drills down. We showed up with probably mismatch of gray sweatpants and jean shorts and bathing suits. And I swear to God, we're wearing old football jerseys and we're just kicking the ball around and we're like, we're going to play these guys. So we ended up losing to them 1-0 during league play. Okay. But the funny thing is we were switching on the fly. We didn't know you couldn't do that. Picture playing basketball or soccer. We're switching on the fly.
Right.
And their coach is yelling. And we're like, what? But the ref didn't. He's like, who at 8th grade wouldn't know you can't change on the fly?
Right.
So they're so mad they only beat us 1-0. They invited us to their Hayden Heights Booyah. It's like a fundraiser.
Yeah,
They sell
sure.
the Booyah. And
Yep.
they have their fancy uniforms. And we showed up and we tied them 1-1.
Oh my God.
You could have just packed the tents. They were so upset. It's like losing to the Edgecombe Pee-wees. It was
Well,
great.
Mark Montgomery was on that team, so that's not a bad loss.
Well,
there.
that's true, but
It's changing on the fly. I
That's
love
so
it.
Changing on
funny.
the fly.
Yeah, Hayden Heights plug. Holy moly! I mean,
Yeah.
but
But
no,
a lot of good kids came out of there. They're cool kids,
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
at the time, you're very competitive, and then you get older. It's like,
that was behind Hillcrest Shopping Center, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's funny.
Anybody yell too many men on the ice? Too many men! They switched
Wait,
early.
do
They
Yeah.
switched early. You can't switch it up.
Oh, we might not have had enough. I'm not sure, but
That's the first soccer reference in the podcast.
Yes,
for
and
sure.
those guys
Pretty
had played
sure.
organized
Ding, ding, ding.
soccer for 7-8 years, and we
Why did you guys stop playing? You guys had a dynasty.
Well, that's a great question.
Legends. Legends.
Ronaldo,
What
Right?
could've been.
Hayden
Right.
Heights.
What could have been? God, that's great.
That's super funny. Yeah, his dad was a good ball player. He played in the minors for a while. I think I said this story before on the pod too, but he was a great bowler.
Oh,
This is a heartbreaking story
Yeah.
for sure. You tell it.
So God bless him. He just loved a bowl, and like as kids, we'd go to like these company picnics, and we'd go up to the lake, and he'd play horseshoes, and he'd just ringer 2 out of 3, ringer. And then, but when it came to bowling, he was smooth stroke. And we really never watched him bowl, but he'd leave on, I think he played Tuesday nights and Sunday mornings. And he always had a pretty decent average back in the, 80s and 90s. And people would be like, oh, your dad, heck of a bowler. I'm like, oh, yeah, big deal. So he had thrown a couple, one time I think he had a spare in the first and then he ran the next 11. So he ended up with a 279. And he just said, he's like, if a guy could throw 300, he's doing something right, So when he was like 72 or 73, he's playing in an old timers league. He's like, I just like to go there and hang out with the fellas. I'm like, Dad, last I checked, you don't have a fake ID. You're old enough to be there. He's like, well, yeah, I just like to, get loose a little bit. He makes the first 11 strikes, and the 12th ball, he goes, I grooved it. He goes, I was watching it. He goes, a couple earlier in the game, I got, the pins bounced the right way, but got a little lucky. He goes, I grooved it. He goes, and I looked up and that 12 pin was standing, 299. This guy's like 72 years old. He's never had a 300. So, my mom's making a big deal of it. My dad's like, please, punks, don't bring it up. That was my mom's nickname, right? So it's funny. So he gets his silver ring. If you get a 300, you get a gold ring. But if you get a 299, you get a silver ring. We're like, wow, Dad, that's pretty cool. Or my mom was making a big deal of it. And I was kind of like, I'm not sure my dad's too proud of that.
Domestic abuse.
Yes, right?
Where's the 911 for domestic?
So my dad says, he goes, hey, I've had a good run, but if that ring ends up in my casket, I will haunt you for eternity. I never want to see that thing again.
Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Oh, God. As an old timer.
Old timer, yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Wow.
Yeah, but Vikes down in London last weekend.
Yeah, Vikes in London. What do you think of those 8 a.m. starts?
It made for yesterday a long day.
Yeah.
But what'd you guys do?
I was at the house. I had some stuff I had to take care of in the afternoon, so kind of had to plan accordingly.
That's a boring podcast story right there.
Yeah, trust me. I like,
It was fun though. We were at the little shindig, and
there's another one next week. The Packers play at 8 a.m. next week, I do believe. But yeah, it was a good game. Do you think those Londoners are going to try to hey, we'll take 10 of those NFL teams immediately?
I do think they're getting to the point where they could put 2 teams there. I think they have to have 2 teams because one would be home and one would be traveling.
So me and my brother went in a group of guys went in 2013 against the Steelers.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it was amazing how they were so fired up, and everybody had it was great because if you go to a Wild game, everywhere's a Wild jersey, and it might be Darby Hendrickson from 2003, but they're wearing it, they're proud, and then they got all these different Wild jerseys, all different genres when they came out with red and green and whatnot. But everybody that you're walking around, there's guys wearing Bears jerseys, wearing Jaguars jerseys, whatever football jersey they can get their hands on. Oh, they love it. Yeah. They're coming up to asking us like, hey, I'm in a fantasy football league. Who should we start? And I'm like, okay, I don't know if you see my fantasy football record. I don't think you want my advice, but they go crazy for it. It was a blast.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys dressed up with the horns and the Vikings outfits, and it was pretty sweet. Yeah.
I think we have to get 10,000 people over there though, just traveling.
Oh, it was because again, like I said, it was Vikes, Steelers, and it was a lot of purple. And
that's surprising. Steelers travel well.
And they do, and they did as well. But I mean, just for let's just say there's at that stadium, probably 75,000. I'm shooting from the hip here. But there was probably, you're right, at least 10, 15,000. I swear it's 10 to 15,000 real Minnesota Vikings fans. Yeah. Maybe not all from Minnesota, but they bleed purple.
Vikings have a big constituency.
Following.
Seems like the Vikings have a big following.
Right.
And that's ironic, right? The Vikings going into England, right? They don't want that there too much.
No, right? Like to forget about that raping and pillaging,
Yeah. Hopefully the old Viking team didn't show up.
I don't think Ragnar went over there, did he?
Yeah, no. But the double doink was awesome.
Oh my gosh.
The double doink.
So I think my thing is the curse is over.
You think?
I think the curse is over.
I honestly thought
the kicker curse.
Yes, the kicker curse is over.
The Minneapolis Miracle, I thought that busted the curse. It takes something like that to get you over the hump.
Yep.
and then we lay an egg against the Eagles of all people.
But the kicking curse has burned us so many times. I think it's over. I think the kicking curse is over. I'm calling it right now.
I'll buy it. I want it to be over, but
why do we?
We'll see.
Why do we have a problem with backup quarterbacks all the time?
because we don't have one.
Well, no, I'm talking about when we're playing against them. I mean, this is their mob.
Yeah, you're right.
Rush.
I mean, how are we not just attacking these
Andy
quarterbacks?
Dalton he's a great quarterback for the Bengals.
Oh, but great.
Well, very good, serviceable.
He was good.
You know,
He's
first came
a
out.
he's
great
going to be
hair.
in the league for 20 years
Right.
because he's a serviceable backup.
But you're right. We make him look like Joe Montana.
I mean, Cooper Rush last year
Right.
with the Cowboys, and anybody that is different, we have to attack these guys.
You know?
Can't just let them sit back there and throw. And what happened to our D?
I
Where's
don't know.
Danielle Hunter? Is he even playing?
I don't know. How many sacks we have this year? It's
Not
just
many.
Come on.
Not many at
Packers
all.
was our best game.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Danielle or Zadarius or whatever, but I know we're a new head coach team that we're trying to figure each other out. But at the same time, it's like, let these guys play.
Yeah, right.
Get after it.
I know. And when they blitz us, it's like, forget it, dude.
Oh my
We're
god.
like, what? Hey, I hope nobody's listening to this podcast right now because all you gotta do is blitz the Vikings. And
I think they should put, those when the horses trot down streets, they have to have that poop bag on the ready to be on their ass. Kirk Cousins should put a poop bag on. I mean, seriously, he craps his pants every fucking time they get somebody.
Well, and I get it, and it's like, but I keep asking myself, it's like, it's not like NFL quarterbacks grow on trees. I would, we've never, you look at when the Packers, they went from Favre to Rodgers. They've had Hall of Fame quarterbacks for the last 20, 22 years, whatever it is. You look at the point when the Colts had Manning and even Luck at the time. It's like all they have to worry about is the rest of their team.
Mhm.
They are bulletproof at quarterback. We haven't been bulletproof,
Never been bulletproof.
since Tommy Kramer.
I met him.
Yeah,
Sweet.
tell that story. It's a great story.
Last year we're tailgating at the Cooper Rush game when Cooper Rush beat us, and we're like right outside the Biffies, and there's like 30 people deep at the Biffies, and we're standing there, and I look, and someone's like, "It's Tommy Kramer." It's like, no, it's not. It's like, it's Tommy Kramer. He's standing behind me waiting for a Biffy.
Right.
And we're like, hey, you Tommy Kramer, hey, how's it going, fellas? We were taking pictures with him. We're like, Tommy Kramer, wait for the Biffies. We're like, let Tommy Kramer go and take a piss.
He's earned it.
That guy's a
Absolutely.
legend. Let Tommy pee. Let Tommy pee. And he's like, no, fellas, I'm just like you guys. I'm just hanging out here. He's drunker than us. But we were like, he was a great dude. And I tried to get him up early so he could take a leak, but he was just being humble, being a nice guy.
That's
and,
good.
Yeah, I met him last year for the first time.
Were you down at Park Place?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
So we go down there and we say hi, and I told him, hey, that Cleveland Browns game in about 1982 or 3 or whatever it was the best ever, right?
Yeah.
But the kicker was Keith Millard was there. And he, his arms are more powerful than the cops' guns and everything like that. But the kicker behind that story is I was at Mankato. I transferred there for college.
92, not 82, right? Or what?
No, yeah, it was probably, 89, 90, 91. So in the fall of 91, I transferred to Mankato. And we're over at the Albatross having a few drinks,
Penny pitchers.
Right? May or may not been, old enough to get in. But all of a sudden we see all these cops. We're like, what the hell is going on? And I had to get up in the morning and register for classes. And I see a white Corvette up on the drive-through landscaping at the Hardee's, which was at the strip mall. And the other bartender's like, yeah, Keith Millard was in here, and that's his Corvette. Well, that was when they were having issues getting back for curfew. Well, he decided he wanted some Hardee's, and he put his brand new Corvette convertible up in the rhubarb, left it, ran back because he didn't want to be late. So that's 30 years ago. So we're at the Park Place and we meet Tommy Kramer and laughing and having a nice time and got a picture. And Keith's like, hey, Tommy, we got to go. And my brother says, hey, Keith, have a nice night. Just so there's not any Hardy drive-thrus, I'm sure you'll get home just fine. He got a smile on his face. He's like, yeah, it's great. That's great. I was there. It was unbelievable. What are the odds
a
of
little bit.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was a good showing. They had some good players
Yeah.
on there, right?
Yep.
God, Vikings, I love it. Should we talk about, it is fall, football season. Should we talk about Jimmy's?
Caramel.
Jimmy's Caramel.
Love the
So
caramel.
Jimmy's salad dressings and dips, and this is the season for caramel apples. I didn't know this. Candy apples and caramel apples, they say, are two different things. But Jimmy's, they have caramel apple nachos.
I tried to make them one night. Forgot about my oven on.
So apple slices, caramel on top, delicious little treat right there. Another Minnesota homegrown company. They make delicious caramel apple, tubs of the caramel apple dip that are awesome. You can get it at Cub. They'd say look for the caramel apple dip by the apples when you go in there. I like the Honey Crisps. My wife likes the Sweet Tangos. But very delicious. Check it out. And I think who needs pumpkin spice when you got Jimmy's caramel dip? That's the taste of the season right there.
So they say don't mess with the dressing.
They say Jimmy's salad dressings and dips. Don't you be messing with the dressing. I was going to do a little Randy Savage, but I'll save you from that. But yeah, so check out Jimmy's. They're at Cub Foods. Delicious, festive Halloween treat right there.
You got some good salad dressings and dips.
Absolutely. So I saw hockey was back this weekend for the first time. I started catching the Gophers were on, the Wild were on. Both.
Let's go back.
Boom, boom, boom.
Let's go back to NFL.
We're going back to the.
We got to go back.
What are we talking about?
Tua.
Oh, you want to talk about Tua? I got him on my fantasy team. That's why I don't want to talk about him.
I mean, God dang. How does that happen in today's society?
You're right. You're right.
And I'm not even talking about the last game. It's the game before when he was knocked out and he went down to the ground. How do you not pull him out of the game right there? I mean, that is unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree. Any parent would look at a kid and go, he's not going back in. Any coach should look at that and say he's not going back in. And then you have neurologists and doctors.
And that's my only concern, because you have coaches who are getting paid to produce. You have players that are paid to produce. And if they don't go in, they get labeled as soft. And if they, if they give up their spot, they might not get it back. So they're like, yeah, coach, put me in. I'm ready to go. Give me some smelling salts, some Gatorade. I'm ready to go.
Right.
But when you have a certified doctor, a neurologist, who has to follow a code of ethics, gives them the clear. I know there's a lot of money behind it.
That's messed up.
And I'm sure it's a very prestigious position to have. Oh, I work in the NFL. You see me on the sidelines every other Sunday. It's great.
Yeah.
But to clear him, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Even just to err on the side of caution.
Right. Yeah, right. And I'm sure the coach is like not paying attention. He's just like, oh, is he okay? I don't know. Yeah, Tua's going to be okay. Okay, fine. He's going to be okay. The doctor says he's cleared. I don't blame him as much as I blame those doctors and whatnot. That guy's going to have lifelong injuries.
It's very possible.
Yes.
NFC Championship, winner go home. I'm not even saying I condone it, but I could see how there's a little discretion. But the fourth week of the season, third week, going into the fourth?
After the previous week, I'm surprised that he even went back in. It's the first time the Dolphins have been decent.
Relevant, since Marino. Yeah.
But it's early on, you know? Like he's got a lot to play for still, and he may, who knows? Hopefully he's good, you know. But yeah, that's bad news. How about Lewis Seen snapped his ankle? How about So
I read today, I was on my way here. It was a compound fracture, and all the players knew it, and they're like, "That's." I don't know how you come back from that.
But it's that play was off the turf. Tua's head was off the turf. That's turf, right? And not the ground, hard turf.
Right.
How many ACLs get torn up on that turf? I think they gotta look at that a little bit more closely with like how bad these guys are getting hurt with dumb little injuries that seem to not happen. And maybe guys are bigger, stronger, faster, and that's what happens too.
Yeah, but some freak stuff, right? Like,
but you're right.
Bridgewater's.
If you could possibly prevent it, why wouldn't you?
When billions of dollars are in the NFL, but like
you can tear down a season, you can tear down a stadium a lot faster and put up a Luke Bryan concert. That's why. Kenny Chesney's coming to the U.S. Bank Stadium. Let's go. They have turf or grass at U.S. Bank?
I think they got, it's not U.S. Bank anymore. Oh, yeah, it is U.S. Bank. I'm thinking of Huntington, but
that's turf.
That's turf.
Yeah. Had a fantasy football draft there one year. It was pretty cool.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow. Freaking high roller.
Well, I didn't mind used to be a big wig over there.
I like it.
Yeah.
You got any open spots?
Well, probably next year. I'll probably get ran out of the league.
Don't see you don't live in the city anymore.
Right?
Okay, so hockey's back, right? We got a little bit of time left. Hockey's back.
Football still.
What now?
Mr. Unlimited.
Mr. Unlimited.
Did you ever see Russell Wilson's stupid ass alter ego?
No.
Oh my God, it's the most.
I didn't see it. No.
It's the stupidest, most effed up thing you've ever seen.
I suppose though, I'm sure he's trying to be relevant. He's trying to be on Sports
cool.
Center.
People
He's
talk
trying to be
about
on the game day show and
There's a video where he runs out on like practice and like pretends like he's like high-fiving fans as he runs out of the tunnel, and it's practice. Like, dude, what are you doing?
It's practice. And then he was like he wasn't playing a game, and he's like warming up, and he, doing everything he's supposed to do.
Right.
You're not even playing, dude. What are you doing?
I think he's overrated.
I think he's overrated too, but I think he lost his edge.
Yeah.
Something
when he came up with
edge,
this, because he used to have it.
Right.
He used to be able to.
Yeah,
because he's not that big. What is he? 6 feet tall?
No,
but
he's
mobile,
like Drew
and
Brees
he's a very intelligent player. But with all this crap he's doing right now, he's lost his edge. And this video of him,
I don't even want to see
he's
it.
like talking about. I was hoping we had it up, but he's talking about you got to have an alter ego, and you got to when somebody's telling you, he goes, "I trust Pete Carroll," but you can't trust Pete Carroll. You got to trust yourself. The one person I trust, Mr. Unlimited, and I'm like, oh my God, Ben Lever wants to murder him.
Oh, I bet. There's a stand-up guy.
It's kind of
right
good
there.
that he sucks now. I mean, their offense looks so
Can
bad.
you
You're like, dude, we got
imagine,
a lot
though?
of weapons. Let's go.
Can you imagine being the guy that said, "Trust me when I say this. We're going to give him a 5-year deal. He's going to bring us to the promised land."
Right?
John Elway's got to be like, "What is going on here?"
They've made bad quarterback decisions there, right?
Horrible. I think it might be on purpose. Elway doesn't want anybody to take his whole horse face. Horse face don't want anybody to take him.
That's so good. How about probably the guy from Seattle's probably like, "Trust me when I say this." Russell Dunn, and he's like, "Seriously, send him off, bro." And now he's looking like a hero.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine writing that check every 2 weeks. Here you go. Here you go.
I don't know, but all right. Now on to hockey.
Before we go on to hockey, anything else you want to talk about the football? You want to talk
Real
Aaron
quick?
Rodgers?
And I don't want to pile on. I was so fired up for the Gopher game on Saturday.
Oh my God!
And I was trying to row the boat, and I was cautiously optimistic. I didn't want to be let down, but come on, guys.
One person shouldn't be able to be
right
to do that. It can't be about Mo Ibrahim not in the game. It was such a bad.
Trey Potts is a great running back.
Right.
He is a great running back.
Yeah. Statistically, I think they're the top 3 rushing college team in the country.
Right.
Now, granted, their schedule is a little suspect, but you still got to execute. Michigan State's no pushover, and they manhandle those guys.
Right. I don't get it. And I don't know.
I think what we need to do is somehow, whenever the Vikings or the Gophers, Wild get on a roll, keep them off national TV.
Yeah, especially the Vikings.
Prime time, national TV.
Yeah.
It is, you just watch it and you go,
yep. It's embarrassing.
You kidding me?
Yeah.
But hey, misery insurance.
Kirk Cousins is like 2-12
misery
or something.
insurance.
I love that saying, misery insurance.
Yeah, I go put money on the other team.
Put money on the other team just for a little misery
nothing
insurance.
Nothing can go wrong.
That's how I roll with my fantasy football team. I pick a lot of Packers just for misery insurance.
That's funny.
Well, maybe we don't like hockey's fine. Gophers look decent.
Gophers look really good.
Wild, I think they look good. But I want to get into some of your stories about in this last these last few mementos. These little bar stories.
We were talking about the Twins. We were talking about the Twins. We were down in Chicago. One of our good buddies. It was his 40th birthday.
Him and his wife share, like, their birthdays are very close to one another.
Yep.
So they agreed they were going to do like a couples trip to Chicago. For his first 40th birthday, his bucket list thing was to see Wrigley Field and watch a Cubs game. So we're like, yeah. So I think it was 6 or 7 couples, and you and I.
You guys went down as a couple just to ruin everybody else's trip.
Yeah. And so we get down there, and you guys got there before me. It was a Friday night. Down classic Chicago. Had nice dinner, having drinks, running around. It was just the energy. It was just a blast. Just a blast. We stayed up late, got up early, and we may have been the last ones at the Cubby Bear, which is the bar right across from Wrigley.
Yeah.
We walk in, and there's a Yeg bomb waiting for us. I was like, ooh, I'm not ready for that. Can I at least get a beer first? And like, nope, you're up. I was like, all right, let's go. Whacked her down. Like, okay, I think we can do this. Started having a few drinks, and we can see on the, it's about 11:30 in the morning, noon game. We're like, oh man, I've been to Wrigley a few times, and it's like I was starting to get a nice little groove at the bar. And they're like, okay, everybody's like, all of a sudden we look up and the game is starting. So like, we got to go. Like, okay, So we walk across like a little kid, like who's in a hurry. You don't realize you're walking faster than you normally would, but you're just like shuffling, right?
Yeah.
And so my buddy Chad, we go up to behind the statue there behind home plate, and the guy goes, "Oh, you guys got bleacher tickets? Yeah, like, what's the matter with you? We got bleacher tickets. Why are you trying to go behind home plate?" Sure enough, we're just walking casually, and he's just walking a little quicker, a little faster than everybody else. And jump in here when you get a chance. But we walk around the corner on Waveland, and we get to center field, and he's probably 30, 40 feet in front of me, and we had paper tickets. Like, sweet, let's go in. It's going to be a blast. Get some beers, watch the Cubs, And all of a sudden, the guy goes to scan it. Boop. Nothing. Guy takes the scanner. Boop. So all of a sudden, he looks at the ticket, and he's showing my buddy Chad the dates. And also my buddy's like, oh. I'm like, that's not good. So I walk up there, goes, everything okay? He goes, no, they're not good. I go, what? Are we in the wrong section? He goes, take a look at your tickets. Now, keep in mind, there's like 16 people.
Yeah.
And God bless his wife, gave us the tickets the night before. No one bothered to look at the tickets were for the wrong day.
Oh, damn. His wife is probably mortified.
I felt so bad, but part of me, I was like, I've been in there a dozen times. We go over to the bleachers across the street. I'll be just fine.
Yeah, right. We're like, let's go back to coming back.
But it was only like 4 or 5 of us that were trying to get in. So the group, there's a dozen people that doesn't know yet that we're not getting into this game. I'm like, oh boy. So we walk in. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
So Chad's distraught. And he's like, oh, this is unbelievable. I can't believe this happened. He's like, let's get some drinks. I feel horrible. So we get drinks and shots. And
it wasn't the Cubby Bear, though. What was the one across
Bleachers.
Bleachers.
Murphy's Bleachers.
Yep.
So we walk in, and she's like, all right, great. 5 shots and 5 beers. That'll be $68.50. And my buddy's so distraught, he throws her $70. I was like, I was kind of watching like, oh, boy. And she goes, really? $1.50 tip?
I'm 68.
And I'm like, no. You have to apologize. We've had a rough morning. I said I was miscommunication. We greased her. She's right. Like, oh, I apologize. I went out last night. I had too much to drink, and you're my first customers of the day. So it really didn't set the tone very well. Like, oh, I get it. Been there, done that. So we're just here to have a nice time. It's his birthday. His wife's birthday is coming up, and we're trying. Their whole thing was to go to the Cubs game, and I go, we have the wrong tickets. Yeah, she's like, oh my God. Next thing you know, all the other people who finally realized they had tickets for the wrong game, they come filing in, and most of them are laughing. A couple of them are kind of like, what do we do? I'm like, I think we're fine. And the bartender, who was so mad at us, she goes, I can't make any promises, but in center field there, where that bar is located, they used to have rooftop bleachers. But it was like an insurance thing way back when, and I think Major League Baseball was trying to get their hands on some royalties or something, so they weren't offering it. She goes, I can't make any promises. Let me talk to the manager. So, all right, cool. I didn't say anything. About half hour later, she's like, come with me. So all of us got to go up there.
Come on.
Yeah, we got to go up there. We could at least see
Really?
the field. We were having drinks, laughing, having a good time, and took a bunch of pictures. I think we got to stay up for, about 2 innings?
Yeah.
Which was cool. And what is great about that is, like, we've all been to 40th birthday parties. Most of them are memorable. The good ones aren't, for obvious reasons. But we still laugh, and that comes up all the time. And it's like, that would have just been another 40th birthday. But to this day.
Well, then we got in the rickshaws.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we got these rickshaws.
Yes. Okay, keep going.
So we were all little, well, especially me, putting little pounds on. So I'm with my buddy Brad and his wife Deanna, and we're in this rickshaw, and this poor bastard's driving this rickshaw. It seemed like it was uphill and for about 2-3 miles. And he's
is it like
sweating.
A pedal bike with you guys in the back?
Yes,
or is it?
yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So we all have these rickshaws. So there had to be 4 or 5 of them, right? And they're racing each other, and they're just the sweat beating up.
They earned their dough that day, for sure.
So it was just super funny. Then we got to this bar.
You want me to tell it, or you want to tell it?
You can tell it.
So we go in there, and there's 2 guys in there, and they were older guys and just minding their own business. And they weren't quite what to make of us guys walking.
Jason found this bar.
Right.
Somehow.
A friend of ours, Jason Thompson, had been down there and he says, hey, we're coming back in like a few weeks if that's kind of, but they expected us. And I said, so I walk up to the bartender. I said, we're going to be here for a while. I said, don't tell those guys because we kind of feel like we're invading their space a little bit.
Right.
Just serve them drinks, put their drinks on our tab, and at the end of the day, we'll take care of it. And we're there for a few hours.
Yeah.
And we're pounding beers and having a few drinks and laughing and high-fiving. And we don't even know to this day if the Cubs won that game or not. You want me to tell the whole story?
You can. I don't care.
Oh, here we go.
So we're like, okay, now Jason, I think, was like, hey, we got to go. I'm like, he's like the
organizer.
He's like Julie on the Love Boat. He's like the events coordinator.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So I walk up to the bartender and he's like, okay, you guys had 62 Golden Lights, 58 Coors Lights, 38 Yeg bombs. But he's like, I'll erase. He literally had a pen and paper. He was keeping check marks, And he's like, instead of 63, we'll make that 48. Instead of 57, we'll make that 140. He goes like, you guys kind of get after it a little bit. We're like, well, we don't get out much. We're just having a nice time celebrating our friends' birthdays. All of a sudden, I hear people screaming, oh my God, what's going on? Bobby streaks the bar. And stark naked.
The guy cuts you a deal and Bobby shows up naked.
So then I'm like, you guys don't get out much? I go, yeah, we do. As he runs out the front door, butt naked. I'm like, okay, so this is what the tab should have been. Those guys are covered. Here you go. We're out of here. Yeah. He's like, all right, see you next time. We're like, probably not.
Yeah. Did I cut you a deal on that? I want to go back to my original offer. Since this guy
I had no idea he was going to do that. Normally he gives me a little like, hey, what do you think? I'm like, it's early, I had no idea it was coming. Talking to the bartender, hey, thanks for having us. A great place. We're going to tell our friends. Everybody's screaming, laughing. He goes running through. I was like, what the hell?
All I had was I had my shoes on and a little American flag just buzzing through. But the funny thing is, Lori was there.
Yeah.
So, but I went out back because they had this like back little patio area, and I went out back and I dropped my pants. I'm like, I'm doing it, right? So I dropped my pants, and sure enough, she walks out the back door, and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like, "What do you look like I'm doing? I'm going streaking." She goes, "Put your pants back on," and I'm like, "Oh God damn it!" So I pull my pants up, go back in the bar. I'm kind of sulking at the end of the bar, just like, God, I can't believe she wrecked that. Then she sees me after a little bit. She's like, all right, go do it. Like,
yeah. You're gonna wreck your fun.
Right. So it's funny because at this place, I ran out the front of the bar.
Yeah, he started from the back and ran to the front door.
So then I get out because I had it all figured out, but there was the door in the back that was locked, but I opened it so I could get back there and get my clothes.
Right.
So I get on the front and I bust my ass around the freaking side. I go back to the door and it got locked somehow. So now I'm sitting out there in Chicago with no freaking clothes. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So somehow, I don't even remember how, but it got opened up and I got in and got my clothes and walked back in the bar like, do you guys see that dumbass that just ran through here?
And everybody knew it was you.
Oh, yeah.
You just sat back down. Like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that was fun.
The owner didn't care. He liked you guys.
Oh, he actually.
Oh yeah, he was having
a. He's like, this is great. You guys can stay here as long as you want. It was awesome.
Telling that story on a podcast right now. That's
right.
Awesome.
Statute of limitations are long gone.
It's way long.
That's fantastic. Gone. Never had the balls to streak a bar before. Wow.
Yeah, but yeah.
Well, Dave's trying to figure out the cheaper tab. That's fantastic.
No, I wasn't even negotiating. I kind of felt like, we've been here for a while. We're taking up space, but he was just like, nah, thanks for coming in, you guys. We won't be this busy otherwise. And anytime someone rounds down, you appreciate it. But I was like, whoa, easy there. Now you don't have to shave off quite that much.
I owe you something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. But no, Dave, thanks for coming in,
man.
I
had a blast.
Thanks for joining us. Good stories. Sorry you had to deal with this guy most of your life.
Yeah. People tell me, talk to Bobby lately? Not as much, but yeah, we still, we're talking a little more again, and they're like, and then, other people who know, they're like, how well do you know him? I go, well, the best 20 nights of life, Bobby Finn's been there. The worst 20 nights of my life, Bobby Finn has been there.
That should be a t-shirt.
You never know what you're going to get when you go out.
Yeah. Well, visit Junction 70.
Yeah, swing by. It'd be cool.
Have some drinks.
Absolutely.
Have some food.
Yeah.
Yep.
People love the chicken wings. I can tell you that.
All right.
Yeah.
Good deal.
They are great. But hey, we can be heard on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and all the platforms where you get your podcast. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for listening. And remember, every day, wake up, try to contribute and be a positive way in society. Even if there's negative all around you, don't succumb to it. Laugh, smile, be a good person. Don't help or don't hurt. Help. And most of all, don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
We out.
Yesterday.